I didn't realize what was underneath the pyramids of Giza. Did you?
Never even thought about it, to be honest with you.
I never even thought about it either. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I didn't know. I thought it was just something that's maybe on the top, and maybe there's some tunnels underneath for the old pharaoh to be buried.
The pyramids are intriguing. Don't get me wrong, but I
would love to go see these too.
Yeah, but I just kind of let pyramids be pyramids.
Just let them be.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they're
there. Let them be for thousands of years. We can do that again.
I mean, we can't agree on how they got there, but I mean, we're gonna find out sooner or later, right?
Aliens, levitation, something.
Yes, giants.
I probably, like you, have watched over and over and over again all of these series on how the pyramids were built and all that stuff. And they rolled them on these little logs of these, 200-ton blocks or 80-ton block, whatever the sizes they are. But then they started saying, okay, it's hard enough to roll them on a flat, sandy surface, let alone now we're going to go up the ramp. And then all to get to the top. You got to have a lot of manpower, a lot of slaves. And is there enough room on the ramp for all these slaves once you get up there? And then how do they get? Anyway, there's a lot of questions. Yeah, but I don't think I ever believed. Well, I did for a while until I started thinking, wait a minute, these seem awfully extravagant for a pharaoh to be buried in, that he was going to build these. How tall are they? They are they're pretty 500 feet tall.
Yeah,
something like that. 400, 500, something. And when you have other pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings, if you walk through there, and they're buried into the rock, and then it goes way down, and then it opens up to the burial chambers inside there, and those are pharaohs too. Why is it that a few guys got the big old pyramids? I mean, were they bigger, better, badass pharaohs than everybody else? Made you wonder.
Yeah.
What's really going on?
Makes you wonder.
I think let's get into that a little bit, because there's been a lot of pyramid talk lately. I don't know if you guys noticed. Bunch of things about all these columns and all these things going on about what's going on in the pyramids. So let's get into this and see what's going on with the pyramids.
Let's dive in.
Let's do it. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Rude Bard Podcast. I am the Bard, my buddy.
I'm the Rude. What's
right
up, gang?
There.
How you doing?
Oh, yes. We are building pyramids today. Wait, we're not. I just have a light of pyramid behind me. A lit pyramid. It's lit. So we're having some fun with that. So I think everybody has seen the barrage of segments on the pyramids and what's going on. What are they really used for? And now they have supposedly had found doing some LiDAR or SAR, which is the I can't remember. We'll get to it. Way to see below the ground to see what's going on. Now they're saying, it's up to 2 kilometers deep, which is pretty damn deep.
Yeah.
Below that, there's the pyramids are sitting on these 8 columns, 2 rows of 4, with these spiral, shafts or whatever to walk up and down those, or something is how you'd have to do it. That's underneath there, and you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then you start looking like, okay, how did they find that? I mean, how are they? That's pretty cool. And I would love nothing more than to discover something crazy like that underneath. Just like in Antarctica. We're going to do a segment on Antarctica. There's a lot of shit going on down there, dude.
Yeah, there's some weird shit going on there.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But for these, there's a lot of questions going on. A lot of people are finding we got these legit scientists coming out and kind of remind you of the fact that, well, this scientist says it, so therefore it has to be true. Just like with the COVID stuff. Remember that? You couldn't argue against that, but now we're getting people who are arguing against these scientists saying that these pyramids were used for this, that, and the other, and there's like, no, they couldn't. We're going to get into that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start off with our good buddy Joe Rogan. It actually would be cool to be a good buddy with Joe Rogan, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he's a bros bro.
Yeah, he's a bros bro. He'd hang out, he'd have a beer and whiskey or whatever with you and smoke a cigar with you,
Mhm.
and that would be cool. So he's
smelling salts.
yeah, oh yeah, exactly. It's the best way of doing it. But he gets into all these topics, as everybody well knows, and of course the big thing right now are the Great Pyramids. What's going on underneath there? There's structures, there's cities, counties, welfare systems. There's a whole group of slaves down there. There's aliens. Who knows? But apparently we've started to find some stuff. So he gets into this right now with this gentleman, and they start talking about it. We've got a bunch of clips that we'll go through, and then we'll see what's happening, because I've got some questions about how they're actually coming up with this imagery of what's down there. And so we're going to get into that and ask some questions about really what's going on, and is this true, and is this even possible to do?
Speaking of pyramids, dude, this new pyramid shit that's just come out.
Oh, this is insane. Yeah, I was going to send this to you as well, Jamie. I'll send you one of the most comprehensive breakdowns of it on X, because it's quite stunning. So apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered that there are enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth with coils. So enormous pillars, and then these coils. They don't understand what it is, because they're just looking at LiDAR images. But whatever this is a
It's actually that other technology I'll get to in a minute, but yeah.
uniform structure. There's several pillars, and all of this is like very, very, very weird.
Yeah, it's 600 meters descending down those cylinders, and then there's more stuff below it, and then there's additional structures inside of it. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's really crazy. There's a guy, Jay Anderson, and he did a breakdown of it. Maybe this would be good. We could play this.
Yeah, I think this guy's supposedly the authority
It
here.
makes a
who
little
found
more
this or
sense.
something like that.
Once
But it's
someone
a
explains it
synthetic
to you.
aperture
Well, yeah, I mean, we
radar,
need
not
But
somebody
it
that's
is-
an expert here, not me and you.
Zawi.
Sorry, synthetic aperture radar, not LiDAR that they were using. LiDAR doesn't penetrate into the earth more than maybe a few feet. Well, ground penetrating radar does, but LiDAR, I think, just does surface scanning. So it'll remove like the foliage in a jungle, so you can find all of the Mayan structures and things like that they're finding
Okay.
down there.
Okay.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a little bit different. But anyway, we'll continue.
Hawass, by the way, has said it's nonsense. So I don't know.
Already?
Yes. According to Graham Hancock. This is the wonderful thing about having Graham
I texted
Hancock's
Graham
test.
yesterday. I was like, yeah, what's
Silence Graham! Silence him! He must
Um,
not speak against this. Of course we found all this stuff underneath there.
What did he say? What's his name? Hawass. Go back just a tiny bit.
Said it's nonsense. So I don't know.
already? An expert here, not me and you.
Zawi Hawass, by the way, has
Zawi,
said
Yeah,
it's
Zawi
nonsense.
Hawass. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Already?
He's
Yes.
on a lot of those.
According to
those-
Graham Hancock. This is the wonderful thing about having Graham
I texted
Hancock's
Graham
test.
yesterday. I was like, yeah, what's going on with this?
Yeah. So click on that and go full screen, please.
How significant of a discovery this is.
Dun dun dun. I love the music. And geometry, so you know it's real.
You got to appreciate the dramatic intro.
Yeah, so you know it's real.
you know it's real when they have.
What has just been announced in relation to the
Wireframe
pyramids
lines.
at the Giza plateau and the plateau itself is so incredible, so awe-inspiring and narrative shattering that I have been sitting here for the last hour trying to wrap my head around the implications of what we were just told. So this is pretty much breaking news, because the new findings were announced on the 16th of March at a press conference held by the team who were studying the Great Pyramid of Giza with a non-invasive technology that was first developed by Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, called synthetic aperture radar Doppler tomography.
Fuck, that's a
This was
mouthful.
used to explore the internal
Chiropractor
structure
talk.
of the Great Pyramid of Giza. And this method leverages the analysis of micro movements typically generated by background seismic activity to achieve a high resolution, full 3D tomographic imagery of the pyramid's interior and subsurface components. The recent findings from deploying this technology are nothing short of mind-blowing, because what's been discovered is that there are huge structures coming down from the base of the pyramid deep into the bedrock. In fact, over 600.
Okay, I'm just going to stop it there for a second, because, okay, so if you're getting quote unquote LiDAR or this synthetic aperture radar tomography, you're not getting some detailed. So somebody is obviously doing their interpretation, their artist's interpretation of what this is. And if you're gaining that, and I think we'll probably show some of these quote unquote LiDAR or synthetic aperture radar imagery.
You'll see the radar imagery in it.
How did they get to this?
Yeah. How did it get to this? I mean, this is, I mean, to me, this is a huge stretch on what actually showed up on the, on the images that they got.
Well, it's one small step for man, one giant leap of interpretation of a LiDAR image, radar image.
What do we call it? What do we call it in the industry? Infographic? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is an infographic.
This is totally
fucking master, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This guy's going, I'm going to blow your fucking mind with this shit right now. And you're going to just go, whoa, this is what you got out of that blurry kind of blah, 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 blah image on you. Okay.
Right.
You've seen the ground penetrating radar images where there seems to be an anomaly in this ground, and there might be an opening or something, whatever. And it's like, but this is what you get. Okay. All right.
100 meters deep, which then connects to structures that extend up to 2 kilometers below the surface of the ground. 2 kilometers, massive internal structure.
And then they put these on these 2 big blocks down there, 2 kilometers. Unless you're actually drilling down there and going into this thing, I don't know how you are interpreting all of this from that weird red, yellow, green, blue imagery that the radar gives you.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's the thing. I mean, you look at it. Okay. Well, I mean, we're in the States, so we measure a little bit different. But you figure 2 kilometers is about 1.25 miles or something like that.
Yeah.
So you imagine how long that is. That's how deep you have to go down to really kind of see, grab a full lay of the land. You know what I mean? Of what's going on down there. This radar, I can't see it just picking up something this clear and and structures this clear. It's a far stretch for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, we go to like Butte, Montana every year. My father-in-law was from there. And so we go up there, and they have all these mines where they were mining copper and silver and gold and everything up there. And there is a mine that is 1 mile high up the elevation, and then it goes down into the earth 1 mile deep, and it's called Mile High, Mile Deep. I'm trying to remember the actual name of the mine itself, but anyway, when you get down, and we went into the mining museum, and we actually went down about 100 feet into an actual mine, and it's chilly, but it's a comfortable chill. It's cold outside or it's hot outside, and it's always the same temperature until you get down a certain way. And I think they're saying once you get down like 2,000 feet, which is about 1/3 of a mile down, the Earth's mantle and the everything gets very hot. And once you get way down to the mile deep, you're at a place where you have to have specialized equipment on. You can only be in there for like 5 to 10 minutes before you have to go up high where it's cooler, have an ice chest bath, a suit on to cool your temperature down because it's so freaking hot. Now, if you were to walk down these spiral cylinders to get down to where you need, I think it would be way too freaking hot, knowing actually what really happens in a mine. And this is just the same thing. It's just not a mine. They're just not digging out shit out of the ground per se, although they might be.
Well, that's what mines are, right? They're
I don't
shit out of the ground.
Yeah, I don't think that you could survive in this.
Here's another thing, Barn. You bring up a good point. We've been mining for hundreds of years, right?
Yeah.
eh, with our technology nowadays, say, okay, let's take it from like the 1900s when I guess mining became really popular. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we're
starting to get real big. Yeah, right.
Precious metals. You know what I mean? Big corporations started taking over the the infrastructure and all that. Okay, you take from the 1900s until now. The mining technology. I just thought of this, so I didn't do any research on it, but the mining technology has not grown exponentially. Okay, I mean, the equipment has got bigger, I would say, and I would think that it got, I guess, more efficient. But
yeah, the equipment may have improved, but you're still dealing with the same situation.
You're doing the same thing. You are digging down, pulling out earth and putting it somewhere, and you're doing that back and forth, right? In our modern mines, what do they look like? It is an entrance, and you have some shafts. Most of them go side to side because you can only go so far down. Because, like you said, what starts to happen is you get closer and closer to the core, and whether that may be like an earth core or like a volcano core or something, it gets fucking hot, and it gets to a point to where your workers can't work, right?
Yeah.
And the whole point of doing this is to pull out minerals and do this kind of stuff. There's no other reason to dig
that
this
deep
far into the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For what? For fun? For a Sunday? I mean, come on.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And it begs the question then, if it wasn't man or the Egyptians doing this because they didn't have the technology for that. I know I stole your thunder, dude. I'm so sorry about that.
No, but I mean, it was perfect because that's where I was going. Because if this is real, and if this is,
how cool would it be if it was? Yeah.
Right. I mean, we still have to do some digging on this. No pun intended. But
that was good.
But if this is real, I guess the reasons behind it are, dare I say, astronomical.
Oh yeah, literally, yeah,
literally
astronomical. Well, and that's the thing, and if we didn't build this, which there would be no way in hell that we could have done this, it had to have been something or somebody else. If this is real,
yeah.
And right now, I'm very, very skeptical about this whole thing because I just don't really see how this could be.
Well, and I think a lot of the
skepticism, maybe?
Skepticism, yes, there you go. I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the questions on how and why they were built are still not answered. You know what I mean? You brought this up in the opening of the episode, is that why were they built? Why were they done? We don't have the answers to that.
Right.
So naturally, if we're still questioning why they were even built, why would they do this? You know what I mean? Why and how could this even be possible?
Well, exactly. And I think if I'll play a few of these shorts here that talk about it. Some of them reiterate the same thing, but we'll just run through them real quick here. Mm-hmm. But those are the questions. I mean, what were these pyramids built for? We've all heard things like they are a communication device, or they are a power plant, or they are all these different things, which I think is more plausible because of the resonancy, because of how it mimics the constellation Orion, I think it was, or something. That's how it's perfectly placed down there and all that. I think that probably begs the question that that's more likely what it is than it ever was a pharaoh's tomb.
Well, in how the river ran right next to him, it doesn't now.
It didn't run through it. The river didn't run through it.
but that was
Fly
another
fishing
thing
on that
too.
one, but
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I heard a theory about that. It's like, you know, the river was the constant, and that they could draw power from. You know what I mean?
Well,
And
there's a lot of energy in that.
yeah, and so yeah.
So let's play a few of these and see what a few of these people have to say. There's a lot of speculation about what's going on, and I'll tell you, this is both my wife and I. This is one of our bucket list places to go, and I hope
really?
it's a place that we can go and not have to worry about political unrest or some shit going on. That we can enjoy the antiquities of the world. It would be awesome because we both love that shit.
You might have to push that out 5 or 6 years.
Beneath the pyramids. Recently, a pair of scientists published a paper claiming they had discovered evidence of something really big beneath the pyramids of Giza, and the internet ran with it.
All of this is like very, very, very weak.
And that's the problem. We have to start disseminating the information here. And I don't need the government to tell me what's the correct information. I'll decide for myself by looking at all these and saying, oh, yeah, oh, bullshit. Oh, yeah, possibly, blah, blah. Okay?
bullshit.
Which I think a lot of this shit is, but anyway, we'll move on.
Now, the premise that there's been a giant hidden underground city below the pyramids this whole time is an intriguing one, which would challenge our understanding of human history if proven true. But the larger scientific and historical communities have responded with a collective nuh-uh, calling the study completely false and questioning whether the radar technology cited in the report is even capable of looking.
Okay, so this is the imagery we're talking about. See all this blues and reds and greens? That is what they interpreted to get these columns with the spirals in such high definition as they're going in there. Just to give people an idea of how they're interpreting this and where they took it. Well, I think it looks like this. Okay.
You got to give that 3D artist credit, though. I mean, he really swung for the fences on that one.
Yeah, I've got a science fiction movie I'm going to be put together, and I think I'll contact him and see if he can help me do some artist renditions of things and stuff like that for me.
I mean, he definitely got his money's worth out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Whoever
so probably not time to update the history books quite yet.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna really jump on that one because that really says a lot.
Well, you know what's funny, Barn, is so okay, there's this now, okay, right? But it there's that whole quote about like the winners of history always write the history books, right?
Yeah, right.
So in 100 years, when we're dead and gone, 200 years,
it'll be more like 200 because I plan on living a long time, brother.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. In the next 10 years, we're gonna figure out how to fucking live until we're 200, right?
Exactly. And then I can still cash the Social Security checks that keep coming to me.
I'd still be working, dude.
I know, no shit, right?
Still be working. But the thing is like, are they going to look back at these graphics? Are these going to be the paintings on the wall? Are these kind of like 3D
cave drawings? Yeah.
Are these going to be the cave drawings, dude? They are. I mean,
definitely are.
I
mean, here's another one of your cave drawings. Here's the same one, but it's the same fucking thing.
You want to hear something really fascinating?
Apparently, through the use of LiDAR, they have discovered.
And again, it's not LiDAR.
Enormous structures underneath the Great Pyramid that go kilometers deep into the earth.
See, I mean, this is the same old stuff that they're playing. I mean, all the stuff I pulled is the same stuff, and this is why you have to interpret it and just say, "Wait a minute, let me get to what's really happening here."
Well, okay, like and even with Rogan, like you said, like with all this stuff, you got to sift through the bullshit. And don't get me wrong, I love Rogan.
Oh yeah,
he's a bros bro. I'd love to hang with him, have some beers, smoke some cigars, right? Like we said. But at the same time, Rogan is a gotcha guy, and Rogan jumps on everything.
Little sensationalism, yeah.
Exactly, and it's great for ratings.
Oh yeah.
Great for his audience, you know what I mean? Because everybody is just salivating over his next, video. or something. And that's great. That's fine. But still, it is entertainment. It is for entertainment. Joe's not gonna sit down and really dig through all the science
to try to debunk everything. Like,
and try to debunk everything and get us real answers. You know,
I want to bunk it. I want to bunk this all. I don't want to always have to debunk it.
Right?
You know.
But that's kind of the whole thing, and with a lot of these podcasters who, I mean, dude, I had to sift through my feed just to get to Gutfeld.
Right?
Like, I had to sift through this pyramid feed, like for 10 minutes just to get to Gutfeld, because this was the only thing that people were talking about. And it's like you said, it's the same graphics, it's the same talk track and all this, but at the same time, like, nobody's really it's everybody jumped on it, and like you said, though too, that's not even the right, like, LiDAR is not the it's not the
technology.
Correct technology. So
it's not the technology used.
But just like that, it's like, okay,
like the PCR test for COVID. That's not the right technology that we should have been using for that.
Well, and when it came out, I mean, that was the thing. I mean, that's why I laugh about, talking about the 3D artist who put this together. Yeah. I mean, as soon as that was done, this thing hit like wildfire.
Oh, God, it was a virus.
And nobody really sat on it to be like, okay, well, let's kind of figure out what these ground penetrating radar systems really found, and what they really look like, and what they could look like.
And is it even possible to get this kind of a reading? And that's what we're talking about next. I don't mean to cut you off, but but that's what we're trying to show here. And we want to wrap this up pretty soon here, but let's get into a couple of these, because a couple of these are really, they're talking about this as, I don't know if this is completely the way to go, on this whole thing. And it's so I started looking up, hey, what about the technology? Are we able to look that far down? And I came across this possible technology that might be it, because all the LiDARs are kind of more surface level. Ground penetrating radar goes down maybe 20 feet, maybe 60 feet. Maybe if you're lucky, if you get a good one, it'll go down maybe 100 feet. Maybe. And I could be wrong. It could be a lot less. It could be a little bit more. I don't know. But there's this new quantum gravity sensor, can look under the Earth's surface in unprecedented detail. Well, that sounds pretty good to me.
All right. Yeah, that's very wordy and sounds.
I'm going to leave a link to every single one of these articles that we have on here, just so you can go through it. You don't need to, be bothered with us kind of being boring and going through this, because, a lot of this stuff, it doesn't work. So but you're talking 2 meters, under the ground. What is that? About 6 feet-ish? 6.5 feet. And it's great. It does better detail of surface level stuff, like, is there a mine shaft here, or is there a tunnel here, or is there a tomb, is there a stone something or other underneath here? And that's what this talks about, but it doesn't get very far underneath. So that begs the next question. If none of this stuff is really kind of getting underneath there, what does, or can we do it? So I am going to show this in this way here, so I can go through a couple of these screens. There's no video or audio on these anyway, but they're talking about mapping the world under the Earth's surface, and you can see there's the tunnel, and it can hit this. But this ain't 2 kilometers, dude. This ain't meters. This ain't 600 feet. I mean, you know what I'm saying? This is, we got applications for these ground level gravity sensors and things like that. But how does the quantum gravity sensor work? Well, it's you can read it here. When a cloud of atoms is dropped, the quantum gravity sensor detects minute changes in the gravitational field's strength. The stronger the measurable distance or difference in pull, the larger the item and the higher the difference in density. It's very similar to your ground penetrating radar. It's just probably another method, another system that maybe is a little more accurate. But this was in 2022. Then, how deep can LiDAR penetrate the ground? And now everybody's talking about LiDAR. We just mentioned that with our good buddy Joe. And that's why I had to correct him. Nope, it's a synthetic aperture radar tomography system. And LiDAR and technology enables the creation of accurate 3D models of the Earth's surface, detailed cartographic images, and even the study of subsurface structures. But is it possible for LiDAR to penetrate underground? And if so, how deep? Understanding the depth, blah, blah, blah. For deeper understanding of technology, we'll leave this link in there as well. How LiDAR works is it just basically shoots a beam, a laser beam down, and it bounces back, and it tells. It's very similar, like Doppler radar and things like that. It just bounces back, and there's various kinds: airborne LiDAR, terrestrial, hydro, so on and so forth, for different applications. But LiDAR is pretty much surface level, maybe a couple feet down, a few feet down, something like that. So not a whole lot. So that's not the system that was used. Okay. Then it gets into LiDAR and its limitations, and examining the challenges of LiDAR. Plus, the density of the rock and everything might affect how deep it'll bounce. And things like that as well.
It's definitely going to affect it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's just a lot of limitations. Again, it's really for just cutting off the surface with the foliage in the forests of the Amazon or South America, or the Mayan culture down in Central America, to see where the Mayan culture, where the jungle has taken over all of the structures of a Mayan civilization or something like that. So that's where LiDAR really comes in handy. Then we'll get into this guy here in a minute, but they're just saying there's a flaw in these pyramid claims that no one's talking about, and I think I paused this to the correct spot where this guy talks about this, and then we'll get a couple more, and then we'll get done with this, because I think the whole thing that I'm kind of gathering here with what we're trying to tell everybody is I just don't think these images are accurate. I just don't think that we're seeing this, and then these little three-dimensional, that artist guy, man, he is good, but I just don't think it's accurate at all. So let's see what this guy has to talk about. And then there's one other professor. He's the crazy one with the crazy hair, and you have to believe him because he looks like a mad scientist.
Got crazy hair. Yeah.
So let's check this out.
Claims that I can't say were in the study specifically, but that were reported to be in the study was that there's a structure that goes down 2,100 feet under the ground, and their SAR detected something, that deep. And what do you make of that?
I have problems with that.
It sounds like us. I got a problem with that.
As commented on, is that if you go 2,100 feet below the ground surface, I could do some calculations.
Yes, I should have before I podcast with you.
The temperature at the bottom of that presumably excavated shaft would be so hot that humans could barely withstand the heat.
What did I just say?
And I did a little research on this a few days ago and looked at the deepest mine shafts in the world.
Yeah.
And there are some in South Africa in gold mines that go down 4,000 feet or so.
Yeah.
And it's 160 degrees Fahrenheit down in the bottom of that shaft. Yeah. And that's hot. And humans that go down there have to wear special kind of ice pack clothing.
Oh my God, it's like he just took my comment and put it in a video prior to me saying that. And then it's like he just said it after I said
it. You broke it. You broke the news. I think you.
I think he's taking my thunder. Son of a bitch! But he's right. But he's right, and it confirms what I just said, that it would be too hot. And he's only talking 4,000. Now go down another 1,000 feet.
Another 1,000 feet.
A mile deep. And what is it? 180 degrees? 200? I mean, is it getting near boiling?
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing. I mean, and it goes back to what we were talking about, how like the technology has not grown to where we could do that. Still to this day.
Yeah.
So there's no way in God's sandy earth over there that
because it's not green. Yeah.
yeah, that the technology would have existed then to do that. You know what I mean? Just simply because of the Earth, how the Earth is. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And,
so, well, and I know what you're saying, and I don't want to interrupt you.
Sorry. Yeah,
no. I'm just we're just coming up on our time here, and I want to just kind of get through this real quick, but it's like you're saying. I mean, like I said, you're still going to have the conditions at a certain depth. You're going to have the temperatures, and the machinery might be able to do it, but the humans can't.
Well, so the Earth wasn't any colder then than it is now.
Well,
you know what I mean?
There's so much climate change. What are you talking about?
There's so much global warming.
Hotter than it used to be. Rude. And
there's so much global warming.
There's a lot of global warming going on, especially under the Earth. Down 4,000 to 5,000 feet below the surface.
It's all because of the goddamn gas guzzlers.
Oh, those sons of bees.
Tax those fuckers.
Oh, tax those motherfuckers. Just tax them all. Well, here's our good buddy, our mad scientist, Professor Simon, talking about the technology, and this is why I call bull it on this whole thing that I wish was true.
We wish it's true. We wish it's true. We want to believe. It's just like the aliens. Like we want to believe. I want to believe, but there's too many.
You slow your roll, buddy. You think we're the only life forms in this Earth, this universe? Come on.
Yeah, this universe that is billions and billions and billions and billions of galaxies. Yeah, we're the only ones, man. We're the only ones,
man.
We're the only ones that have
Goldilocks zone, baby. That's all right. So here's Professor Simon. Wait till you see. Hold on. Wait till you see it, and then I want to hear your reaction about him.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Bam!
I love this guy already.
You gotta love this guy, and if you don't believe,
I don't even need to listen to the video.
Yeah, if you don't believe this guy, you are a fascist, a racist son of a bitch, because this guy is legit. Look at it, Marty. 2,300 gigawatts of power. If you know,
it's not you, it's your kid. Yeah.
So listen to him, but he's the one that I listened to this and I'm like, oh damn it, he's right. There's no effing way we're getting this type of imagery down there. And here's what he says.
So the one thing that I can add to the story is my past research into synthetic aperture radar and imaging systems. They claim that they've used SAR, synthetic aperture radar, from a satellite asset to penetrate the Earth by over 2,000 feet. Well, that's not how synthetic aperture radar works.
It
might be a very vague byproduct. SAR is brilliant, and there is a commercial system as well as, of course, the military system. So it's possible that they did have access to it. And it lets you see through rain and cloud and fog and at night. And it will also take away tree cover to give you very accurate measurements of altitude. That's how it works. If you take 3 synthetic aperture radars and shine it down onto the surface of the Earth, it will penetrate weather, foliage, and work at night, of course, and give you a very accurate measurement of anything that is above the ground. For example, the military can use it to see if the oleo struts on an airplane have lowered due to there being a bomb on board the plane. So it's very, very accurate, but it doesn't really penetrate the Earth. It's bouncing off the surface of the Earth. There is kind of evidence that you can use SAR for mineral research. It's very sensitive to certain magnetic resonances from metals. The story goes
Well, and he goes on, and I'll put a link, of course, to this video as well.
Yeah,
because
put a
it's
link
very
in
good
that one.
information.
This guy is my new favorite person
dude.
on the planet. Especially because he
Just
was
look
doing
at him, and he's your
he was
bud.
doing that interview from a fucking bunker, dude.
I know. Was it a bunker he found using SAR?
No, that's just his bunker, man.
That's
That's
just
his
built one.
Yeah, that's just his bunker. That's just how he rolls, dude. I mean,
Gotta roll with it, baby. Yeah.
that's it's his lab, bro.
I love it.
It's where he does his best work.
Do you have to have? Is it a requirement? And I think you know where I'm going with this. To have hair and a beard like that to be considered a legit scientist?
Dude, the thing is if you haven't dug deep into the issues, into science, to the point to where you're ready to, like, your head's ready to explode by itself, I think that it just, your hair
exploded.
It just starts turning that way. Like I can't wait for mine to go. I mean, I'm getting a lot of gray, but for it to,
full
like,
white
blow
and
up like that and full,
fucking
I mean,
Einstein hair and shit. But yeah,
it's kind of a goal that I'm shooting for, to be honest with you.
a good goal to have.
And
Look at him.
People might fucking take me serious. I don't know.
He's too legit to quit. That's all I'm saying.
That guy is fucking amazing.
He is my new favorite scientist friend now.
I love it.
Love it.
I
Professor
love it.
Simon.
Professor
I love it.
Simon. Yeah.
So I think basically the bottom line here is that we have found that I don't think we have quite the technology to do all that. I have a Wikipedia link because we know how legit Wikipedia always is.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple other articles on synthetic aperture radar and what it does and what it doesn't do. And everything, as I read through these, was pretty much, it's not the technology. It's not what is being used. And this is, I'll put this article in there, but it just, you can't look that far down into the earth. One of the things he does explain in that video is you would have to, the only way to do that is you'd have to set off a series of literal explosions all around the pyramids to have the sonic waves penetrate through the rock, through the sand, through everything else, and then bounce back and get that. That ain't ever happening ever in the history of ever.
Oh yeah.
Will that ever happen?
You can barely fucking. You can only get so close to him. And like that Zawi Hawass, he was he really kind of set up the I guess the antiquities.
The Egyptian Antiquities Museum, or
well, yeah, but he set up kind of the structure of, like, he's like, okay, these are, yes, they are huge structures and all this, but they are antiques. They need to be preserved.
Exactly.
And he really set that up and set the standard, and that's kind of what the government went off of, to how close you can actually get to these things.
Yeah.
And one of my I guess questions, just while we're going through this too, was like, even to try to get some sort of reading, it would almost seem like they would have to dig a mine shaft as far as they could go down and then shoot the radar systems into it and see how deep it really went. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
you'd have to be in a shaft as far down as you could go to
that you could tolerate.
To even try to attempt to see what's down as far as they're saying. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Another mile and a half.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have all these articles talking about these guys have been, their claims of these cylindrical columns and everything else, and that they found it through this technology, the synthetic aperture radar, and yada, yada, yada. And you're just like, no. And then you find out, well, what is it? What is the radar? And I have that in here. I'll put them in the link, like I said. And it just doesn't seem plausible at this point. And if I'm wrong, please somebody give me proof that this shit is real, because I would so love to see that.
Okay, so I know we're gonna run a little bit long on this, but we have to entertain the other side, Barnes. Okay,
Absolutely.
and because this is what we do, and this is our fun, and we like to talk about this kind of shit. So, if it is real,
Israel? Oh wait, you're talking. Oh, is real? Yeah, okay, my bad. How much of that in the news today?
So, then what? Then what path do we go down there? So
Right.
if it is real, then what are we talking about? If there's these structures that are this deep and were created, obviously it wasn't created by man. So who was it created by? We have the giant theory, we have the alien theory, we have aliens as giants and giants are aliens, and our our predecessors, that we call gods now, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's so that kind of rolls into those theories and those, I guess, ways of thinking.
Yeah.
Hypothesis. And that's why we want it to be true.
Oh.
Because
I want to believe.
We're gonna have to dive into this next subject that I'm gonna put in this and write this down. It's the simulation theory, right?
Oh, like we're living in a simulation.
Right. So, and that's kind of the whole thing. Like, if the giants and the gods are real,
done,
then it's kind of like they created the simulation that we're living in now. Which, like I said, that's a whole nother episode. That's like 2 episodes combined.
But I don't know how they would. They don't have opposing thumbs, do they? No.
They were gods, man. They could do whatever
they can do it. They can do it without. Just by mental projection.
Yeah. It's like us. The funny thing is when this whole thing came up, I'm sitting with my daughter, and I just bought. She loves Legos, right? Yeah. And she loves she loves the big sets, and it takes a week to build these fuckers and whatever. So I'm sitting down with her building this Lego set, right? And I'm thinking of and in the background, I have these videos running, you know what I mean, of this pyramid shit. And so I'm listening to that while we're building Legos together. And I'm really bringing it down to that level. Like, we're building a Lego set. Now, if you were to take a few ants or a few gnats and throw them in the little Lego building that we built, that would be their new reality. That would be their new home. That would be their new city.
You are blowing my mind right now, dude.
What? Yeah, exactly, dude. And what are they going to do? They're going to reproduce there. That's where they're going to make their home. You know what I mean?
So basically, we on planet Earth are the simulation. We were elsewhere, and then we were planted here, and now our lives are here. In a sense, I know what you're saying.
I mean, you got to consider it.
You
got to consider it. Exactly, dude. And that's kind of the thing. Like, I've had this theory, and for a long time, me and my buddy, one of my roommates, we used to just blaze. You know what I mean?
What are you talking about?
The devil's lettuce, right?
No,
so
no idea what you're talking about, but anyway.
So, and one of my things, even from back then, was like, we're the ants in this whole thing. When you look at it from a universe standpoint, and really, kind of when you think about it, that's to me at least, because we can't be the only beings, in our,
there's no way,
our foreseeable universe, or our viewable universe. So you kind of have to take a step back from that and really kind of acknowledge our place in the universe. And it's just kind of like that, you know what I mean? I mean, me and my daughter are building a Lego set, and it could be somebody's new home without them even knowing. But now, who's the God and creator of that home that we
Right.
just created for ants.
Yeah.
It's us. We don't really know, but you know, we're not going to sit and you know, dictate how they live or anything like
Well,
that.
maybe we're the AI. So in other words, now we were created as the AI, and now the AI is creating other things, and now that's where we are. We are the AI creating these other worlds for other beings, other things.
You know, and the thing is, though, too, is I exactly, and I have a hard time believing in the digital platform of existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would rather, I guess, and maybe this is for my own comfort, but I would rather stick to a natural, you know, a kind of a natural being evolution type thing, and not necessarily like evolution, because I'm not an evolution theorist or anything like that, but almost it being nature and not digitally made. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, right.
Like a video game. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I think that's a little off, because otherwise we'd be made of pixels and not atoms. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe the atoms are the pixels.
You son of a bitch! I knew you were gonna say that. Dude, right when it came out of my mouth, I knew you were gonna say that.
Well, that's what we do.
God damn,
That's what we
man.
do.
God damn.
But, yeah. No, I agree. I think there's a little this, you know, we tangented off a little bit here, but not really, because we're talking about this is a world we're being presented to, maybe, that this whole possibility there's, and we're trying to wrap our heads around our understanding of the possibility of the technology to see this or to build it or anything else. And right now we can't comprehend how this could even happen.
Right. And the only
But it doesn't mean it can't.
Right. The only logical answers, because there are natural boundaries that we can't get past, right?
Right.
So the only logical kind of answer for that is something beyond us, right? It's something beyond a human, and we've been questioning our existence and how we got here and all this shit for the beginning of time, right?
Yeah.
And
Since
this
our
is just another thing that kind of makes us again question everything. Barn.
Right. That's right. Seems to be our theme. Oh, it is. Yeah. So please question everything, and that's all we're doing here. And I just think in our understanding of reality and technology and evolution and everything else, that this is so out there from our understanding and capabilities that it's hard to believe. And right now, from what we're able to discern from this whole thing, is that I just don't see how we're getting that kind of 3D animation out of the radar, the imagery, synthetic aperture radar imagery. That there's no fucking way we're doing that. I mean, it's taking this and making it into that, and when really it should just be this. Yeah, but no, we're taking that leap and we're really putting it in there. So it's interesting. I hope we made you maybe ask a few more questions, and next time you see the myriad of videos out there talking about this and showing the same blue columns with the yellow thing or white, spirals going up it and what's underneath there and all that, you just sit there and go, wait a minute, because personally, my whole experience was being in those mines is that is right. What he said, you get way too freaking hot down there to even survive for very long, like minutes before you have to have your ice suit on and everything else. And I just don't see how it's possible. But then again, you see all these supposed UFOs or UAPs that will fly into the ocean without making a splash, and it doesn't matter. Or they're coming out like Skinwalker Ranch. They're coming out of the mesa.
Yeah.
And defying physics and logic.
All logic and physics that we've set. But that's kind of another thing
that we understand.
That we've set. Yeah. And that is a limitation, I guess, that we've put on ourselves, because
That's
it's
probably
it's,
the same limitation here.
it's so hard for us to believe anything outside of that, which I think, you know what I mean, in a, I guess, such a open energy source that the universe is, that there are many different, I guess scientifical system facts that go beyond our understanding, right?
Like theoretical physics is
right.
what you're trying to say. I think, yeah, it's like,
yeah,
we have reality physics, our known universe of physics, and then there's theoretical physics, like how the hell do you bend time and space that you can fly through it and go from universe to universe or galaxy to galaxy in the universe, depending on how many universes are there? Is there just one, or is there an infinite number? I mean,
infinite? Is there 10? Is there 11?
Right. And so how can something, go so fast and pull a quick 90-degree turn, and you're not splattered against it because it's taking away the gravity effects, the effects of gravity on you, that you can do it. But we can't even comprehend that because we don't know how that shit works.
Right. And we've limited ourselves to the thinking that you can't go past gravity and you can't go past the speed of light. So that is our human
box.
That's
our box we live in. Yeah.
Yes, limitations. But I mean, you figure, it's not out of the realm, because we have what we're made of. This is what our bodies can take. You know what I mean? As far as we know. And same thing with that. Like, that's 120 degrees constant around you. Our bodies can't take that. They will start to boil on the inside. We're what, 90% water or some shit like that? 80% water or something like that. We will start to boil. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that is the limitation of our human structure. So
that we know of right now.
Yeah. So again, it begs the question: is like, if this is real, if those shafts are real, it couldn't have been done by humans, because our bodies have a natural limit.
Right. And there's no way that might be able to be technologically done now, maybe, but not then, unless you prescribe to the theories that we have lost technology over time, and then we gain it back. Remember, like the ancient technologies, there are things where, if you ever watch the show Ancient Aliens, you've seen all this stuff where we were, like Atlantis, providing that was a real place.
Mm-hmm. They're still
had all this all these things, and then all of a sudden we lost it. It's like we went through, the Men in Black, and then they just zapped you with the light, and you lost your memory about the whole UFO encounter you just had.
Right.
And now we've gone down to the prehistoric ages, and fire good, and stuff, and
yeah, exactly.
Oh, we've invented the wheel. Oh, it's better than the square thing that went around. It's easier if it's a solid wheel. And then we've gained it back. But because think about the technology we have gained in the last 120 years.
Well,
and where we were 120 years prior to that.
I'm just going to throw this out there, though, Barn. It's like, we went to the moon in the 60s. Now that technology...
Supposedly, let's not get crazy now.
Exactly. But now that technology is just gone. Just gone.
I have that much technology and power in my phone than they did in a whole room full of computers back in the 60s when they went to the moon.
They were dancing on the moon, supposedly. Allegedly.
Yeah. You mean the hollow moon?
Yeah. Rings like a bell.
Yeah. Go check out our video on that. It's actually kind of fun because we do talk about that, and there's some weird shit going on with our moon. Check out one of our videos from a while ago. So,
we like to have fun. Why not? Why not?
Absolutely. Well, let's wrap this up because I think we beat this dead horse again, and I think we're good to go. So we thanks everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. for joining us, and we've had a great time. I hope you have too, and I hope this length of time flew by because we try to entertain and not be so boring
and drab.
Hopefully you had fun.
There is stone structures called pyramids. Yeah.
You have these columns that are coming up out of the earth around 2.
I gotta tell you though, like I get the highlight of my weekend. Professor Simon, dude. That guy. I'm gonna have him on for the rest of the day. Like I gotta do some chores and shit and draw. I'm gonna have him on for the rest. I'm gonna watch everything that he's ever done, dude.
Do it, because I swear to God, Professor Simon is the man. And just for shits and grins, hold on 1 second here. Just 1 second, just to please my buddy Rude. I'll back up on the screen. Professor Simon, man, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He brings up good points.
In the glasses, he didn't. He had to choose frames, right?
You would think, yeah.
We choose our frames. Those weren't given to him and said, "Hey, you know what? These are the only frames that are going to hold this prescription."
Right.
He had to choose those frames, dude.
But check it out
on purpose.
But check this out. Okay, look at the glasses, and look how low this one sits on this eye compared to it's centered in this eye. But it's all cockeyed in this eye.
It's more reason to fucking love this man.
I
am so intrigued. I
love this guy. He the man. Oh man. Well, thanks for joining the podcast today, everybody. We appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, share. Check out therudebarn.etsy.com. We got some fun stuff on there. I've got the Mad Scientist, Fauci, a shirt for Fauci. He's Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. It's classic. I love it.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Thank you. And we'll have more up there as we go. I just haven't had time to put up some new stuff, but we got a bunch of stuff up there that might work, that you might like. But if you can do us a favor and please subscribe to the show and share with your friends, and we'd love to have it. We hope we entertain you, made you laugh a little, and gave you a little education along the way.
Yeah, and we're not afraid to have a conversation. So dump something in the chat if we are completely, if we are completely off base and we need to be checked. Put it in there. Let's have a talk, because we love doing that. We love just opinions. You know what I mean? Because all opinions are fun, and they're fun to dig into. And
we all know what opinions are like.
But we appreciate you guys listening to ours. And like I said, like, share with friends, and let's just have a good time.
Yep. And real quick, just check out the Bearded Viking. They are another aspect of our partnership, and those guys are great. We work with them together. You do a lot more with them as well, but you've done some great labels and great website work for them, and t-shirts and stuff like that. And they're a mead company. There are 42-ish states now that you can order.
Yeah, we're almost at 50. The crazy thing is it's with the distribution stuff. I mean, we are almost there at 50, all 50 states in the continental. But at the same time, it's mead. It's an old drink, but we put a new spin on it, and it's a great time, and it's fun. And if you like to partake in spirits and opening up the spirits and drinking the spirits, check it out, beardedviking.com.
Partaken in the spirits.
You can get your mead there, or see where you can the closest place where you can get your mead.
Yeah,
and we would love that.
And just question it all when we come back down to these pyramid things. You have to really wonder, come on, think logically, people, and if somebody has a different opinion that they think, oh, it's totally real, it's like, okay, well, that's great. I appreciate your opinion, but I'm thinking it's not real because of this, and this, and hey, let's have a beer together. I mean, it's okay to disagree, or let's have a chat about it.
And let's have some mead together. It's just
coffee, but I don't know about it. It's a metaphor. Metaphor what?
Just pat the ball back and forth, and see what we can come up with.
Exactly. So, well, thanks for joining us. We droned on a little long. I'll have to edit this down probably a little bit, but that's okay. By the
So
time
much
you
fun,
see
though.
it, you won't know the difference. So it's all good.
You're gonna love it either way.
I hope you do. God damn, I hope you know. Love this show. Share it with all your friends.
Love button.
Love that button. Love that love button. I like that like button. I love the love button. I wish they had a love button.
should
They
be a
do,
love button.
kind of, with some things. So,
Yeah,
anyway.
kinda.
All right, gang. Thanks so much for joining us. Check us out on the next podcast. We appreciate it. And remember, question everything.
Everything.
And we'll catch you on the flip side.
See you later, gang.
2 and 2. If you know, you know.